My name is Aisha Alam, and I will be your service associate today. Welcome to the Auburn Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, which is located on occupied ancestral land of the Muskogee Nation and housed in a building constructed by free, formerly enslaved African Americans. We gather here with humility, honoring those who came before us. We extend a special welcome to those of you who are visiting and still getting acquainted with this fellowship, looking for a place that you can call your spiritual home. We hope you will feel welcomed and accepted just as you are. We invite you to join us in our mission to build a welcoming and caring community dedicated to challenging the mind, nurturing the spirit, and transforming the world through pursuit of truth, love, and justice. If you are new, we invite you to add your name and contact information to our visitor log at the end of the church, near the greeters, so you can receive our weekly email newsletter. You may also request this online at auuf.org/visitor. We're a very active congregation, so watch the newsletter, order of service, and the website for announcements of the activities that you may be interested in. Also our social media. Now, as we ring the bell to begin our service, please turn off your phone and other electronic devices. light our chalice this Martin Luther King Jr. weekend with these words from Reverend Eric Cherry. The light we now kindle is a reminder of those who gave their lives for the freedoms we cherish. May we never allow the light to falter, not in our chalice and not in our hearts. As is our tradition, we also light a candle for those individuals and families at our southern border who are separated from loved ones and suffering. May our elected leaders work with good faith to implement policies that respect the dignity and worth of those who are seeking a better life for themselves and their children, free from terror and deprivation. Our opening hymn is hymn number 9. Please rise in body or spirit to join in our opening hymn, No Longer Forward or Backward, in the number 9 in the gray hymn.
This being one that we're not haven't sung all that often, the choir will go through it first, and then we'll have the congregation join, but you'll get to sing the first verse and the second verse. If you're interested, the words, of course, are by the famous New England poet and abolitionist John Greenleaf Whittier.
No longer forward nor behind, I look in hope or fear, but grateful take the good I find, the best of now and here. I break my pilgrim step, I lay aside the toiling oar. The angels sought so far away, I welcome at my door.
Number 1.
No longer forward nor behind, I look in hope or fear, but grateful take the good I find, the best of now and here. I break my pilgrim step, I lay aside the toiling oar. The angels sought so far away, I welcome at my door. For all the jarring notes of life seem blending in a song, and all the angels of its stripes around begin to come. Then to the shadows fall apart, and soon the west winds play, and all the windows of my heart I open to the day.
One of the ways we care for our community is by sharing our joys, concerns, and milestones. We begin with a silent sharing and invite you, one at a time, to drop a pebble into our communal bowl. Lorna Wood will provide musical meditation. milestone you'd like to share with the congregation, please come to the front and share it using the microphone. Please maintain social distancing, coming up to the microphone after the person in front of you has finished. If you are joining us virtually, please share your reflection in the YouTube chat box.
Hi, I'm Laura. I want to share joy that 18 years ago on this Martin Luther King Sunday before the Monday, Martin Luther King Jr., excuse me, Ralph Banks walked into this fellowship. I also want to share, I helped Catherine Ross hang this art show with the help of Victoria, who coordinated getting us help to help hang the show with Amy Kaiser and Kitty Fry and myself and of course Catherine. And we managed to hang it in 20 hours of time. So in case you're wondering how long it takes to hang a show like this, that's how long it takes. So another request would be careful, do not just bump up against the walls into the artwork, please, in any way, shape, or fashion. And if you can help remind that to other people, that would also be appreciated. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Lachlan, and I'm selling Girl Scout cookies. After the service, I take cash and card.
Hey guys, I am Jason. My wife Aisha and I had an event that happened 15 years ago. This one was born.
I'd like to add that she's still an event.
Good morning, my name is Carter. My first joy, which is also a milestone, is that at the auction I bought the chance to sit in with the Rangers. They are the band that Andrew plays with and that played music at the auction. They invited me to cash that in last week, and so I got to sing with them at the Coffee Cat, and I realized I had sung in choirs in theater my whole life, but I had never sung with a live band. So that was fun. And my second joy, the dogs think it's a concern, is that cat I've been telling y'all about, no one wanted. It did not have a microchip. And so now we are subjects of a lovely black and white cat, because I've heard that's how that works. So.
Aisha, Reverend, everyone, I would like to express a joy on behalf of Alabama Rural Ministry. They are working on a couple of projects for the King Holiday Weekend. I had a chance to be involved with one of them yesterday off Wire Road involving I'll have to start over. Aisha, Reverend, everybody. Yesterday had Auburn Rural Ministries involved with a couple of service projects for the Martin Luther King weekend. I had a chance to get involved with one of them yesterday involving Arena Willis and her family, and all we did was put in a door and cut a few limbs off a Chinaberry tree. But that was a lot of joy to me and to her and to everybody involved. So give a shout out to them, and be careful of the cold this week. Thank you.
To all with joys, concerns, and milestones this morning, whether silent or spoken, may you be uplifted by this community and our common humanity. It is now time for the offering. I would like to invite Connor up to tell you a little bit more about the organization that we will be giving our plate to today.
Hi everybody, Connor, always dad. Okay, so second Sunday, giving of the plate. This month, we're going to be giving to Read Freely, Alabama. I'll read you their mission statement briefly. They are dedicated to upholding the values of American democracy by fighting any censorship of our public libraries and by advocating for inclusive library collections that accurately reflect the diversity of the communities they serve. They've become a prominent group recently as there have been attacks on public libraries in the state, part of a broader anti-LGBTQ and anti-trans agenda. They're doing good work. One other thing I'll also say, I'm open to suggestions for future Giving of the Plate donations. If there's an organization that you admire or would like to support, I'm very open to that. Please come find me. I'll be chasing all around likely. Yeah, maybe it's something that came up in the Christmas Eve service. I'm sorry I missed that. It sounded very interesting. Anyway, the Social Action Committee is very receptive to your interests and commitments. So, okay, I think that's it. Thanks, everyone.
A religious community is like a river formed from the many streams of our individual lives, merging and flowing into the sea. The members and friends of this fellowship share our time, energy, creativity, imagination, vision, talents, and skills. Our metaphorical river also depends on our shared financial support to complement our time and energy. So if you're wondering what the Giving of the Plate is, if you're here for the first time or newish, that is what that is all about. At this time, we invite you to give as generously as you are able in service of our mission. You may contribute online via PayPal at auuf.org/donate. If you are writing a check, please make your check payable to AUUF. You can drop it in the offering bowl or mail it to P.O. Box 669, Auburn, Alabama 36831. Whether by check or online, please note whether your donation is for your pledge or today's special plate offering. If this is your first time with us, please allow the offering basket to pass you by. Your joining us at this hour is your gift to us. Now the offering will be received with gratitude.
Let's go in the garden. You'll find something waiting right there where you left it, lying upside down. When you finally find it, you'll see how it's faded. The underside is lighter when you turn it around. Everything stays right where you left it. Everything stays, but it still changes ever so slightly, daily and nightly, in little days, when everything stays. Go down to the ocean, the crystal tide is raising, water's getting higher as the shore washes out. Keep your eyes wide open, even when the sun is blazing, the moon controls the tide, it could pull you down. Everything stays right where you left it. Everything stays, but it still changes ever so slightly, daily and
It is time for a moment for all ages. Today's moment for all ages is led by Marcia Rossi. Come on out, folks.
Okay. I can tell here. If anybody didn't get one of those, that's not working.
Here you go.
Does it work? Yeah. If anybody didn't get the little pieces of paper, the list that were passed around, raise your hand and the children will pass them out now real quick. If you didn't get one yet. Okay, they're still. How was that? No. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay, before I start reading the story, I want to ask you all a question. What kind of place do you think the fellowship is?
Good place.
Good place?
Friendly.
Supportive.
What about you guys down here? Welcoming? Anything else? All right, well, y'all think about that as I read this story about what kind of a place this is. And this is a book about big dreams and doing important things, okay? So think about this place that we're in today. So this is called Something Someday. Turn the pages. You are told that this is not a problem, but you're sure that something's wrong. You are told that this cannot be fixed, but you know that you can help. You are told that this is too big for you, but you've seen the tiniest things make a huge difference. Look at the tiny ant. See what the tiny ant's doing? You're told that this won't work, but how will you know if you never try? You're told to sit and wait, but you know people have already waited too long. You're told that what's going on is very, very sad, but you're not just sad. You're scared and confused. You're angry. And maybe, just maybe, a little hopeful. What do y'all see right there? Throw it in the middle of the trash. You're told not to hope, but you keep hoping anyway. Sometimes you feel like you're all alone, but someday, somewhere, you find a friend, someone who will hope with you, who believes in your dream, someone who will fight with you. You make a promise to each other. You say, there is our problem. There is a problem, but it's our problem together, so we can fix it together. This problem is big, but together we are bigger. You make another friend and tell them, it's okay to be sad. And they tell you, sometimes we'll lose, but that's all right. We'll try again. And so you do, together, working, together, beginning, over and over and over and over. Until you're no longer beginning, you're winning. Look at what we have now, right? Suddenly, there's something you're sure is right. Something you know you helped fix. Something small that changed. Something big. Something that worked. Something that makes you feel hopeful, happy, and loved. Something that is not a dream, but the day you live in. Something that makes you smile as you tell someone else. So hopefully, you guys think about this place as a place where you can find good friends, and you can dream big dreams and do important things. Thank you.
May your words push truth into the world. May your hearts know love and your hands do justice as you go your way in peace. As you go your way in peace. As you go your way in peace.
So for most of my life, for all intents and purposes, I've been incapable of making lists. Practical ones anyway, let alone retaining them. In our family, even the most mundane grocery lists are a comedy of error and omissions. If we make them at all, inevitably, critically needed items are not included. If we remember to write down, for example, dish soap, we forget the laundry soap. If we actually make a note to buy dog food, we forget dog biscuits. In a good week, when the two adults in our household make a special effort at organization, both of us remember to put milk on our list, so one of the low-fat quarts winds up spoiling in the refrigerator. And so it goes, and goes, and goes. I have managed to create a list of the states I have visited. All 50 now. When I got to Alaska on a cruise, that was it. 50 states, right? And a list of countries that's about 40. Wow. Spending quite a few dollars in one pretty dull day, ferrying from Argentina to Uruguay, walking around a few hours in a dusty little port town to add to my country list in as painless a way as possible. But even this list of countries is kept only in my head, and the chances of omitting one of the places I have visited is fairly high, if not inevitable. But this list-making deficit is not genetic, if my father's and brother's lives are any evidence. My father began keeping lists of birds. Who are bird watchers here? Listen to birds. Who's a serious bird watcher? My father began keeping lists of birds he had seen beginning as a boy in Boston, when the hours he spent in public parks were an escape from the dreariness of the Great Depression, the small and getting smaller apartments his parents could not afford, the arguments over money, over pleasures. I imagined that this avocation, which really became over his life a lifeline, provided both freedom and control for him. Freedom to wander and a means to create some order in a personally and globally chaotic time, let alone simply the joy of cataloging, making lists, and through this more deeply appreciating the natural world. Listing birds. Lynn Thompson, who wrote the wonderful memoir Birding with Yeats, it's the name of her son, noted that there is a huge difference between watching birds and becoming a bird watcher. If you are a serious birder, I have learned, you want to keep a list of the sightings when you bird watch. Your life list, according to common practice, should be kept in a designated bird watching journal. A life list is a record of the species you have seen over time, each entry noting a particular bird. So not a junco, just a junco, but a black-eyed junco, the date, the location, and any notes you want to add. Depending on your personal preferences for how to organize your findings, you can choose to keep one central list or separate lists as you see fit. For many bird watchers, apparently one life list is simply not enough, so they're broken down into house lists, the birds you sight around your house, yearly lists, state lists, trip lists, journals for particular bird watching vacations or tours, and then wish lists, a list of the birds you haven't seen but hope to in your lifeline, which you can then cross off as the sightings occur. And then there are the very controversial, and this time, herd-only lists. Herd-only lists. Since in the world of competitive bird list keeping, till recently, if you only could hear a bird but didn't see it, you couldn't officially count it. So talk about being ableist. Because if you can't see, you can't count the bird. And then there is the annual Christmas bird count. How many of you have ever heard about the annual? Yes. Started in 1900 in England as an alternative to the traditional and very popular side hunt, which involved going out Christmas morning and shooting every wild bird and animal you came across.
Wow.
The alternative holiday adventure invented by an ornithologist, a bird scientist, involves counting them rather than killing them. That's in most cases, and I'm going to tell you, this wasn't in my whatever. Do you know that there are competitive bird watchers that can get permits from natural history museums to shoot a rare bird that they say is off its migratory route, so it was going to die anyway, in order to be the only person who can count that bird on their list? The scuzzy underbelly of bird watching. Now it's held in the weeks around Christmas rather than Christmas Tree proper. Upwards of 1,000 of these Christmas counts happen in this country. 50,000 list-making bird watchers participate every year. And I came from a family of origin where they didn't miss any. The day each December of a missing father and brothers, husbands and sons, cold or dried out dinners, and complaints about bird widowhood from my mother. Even in light of the understanding that the information that's gathered in these counts has told us so much about our native and our wintering birds, how house finches have spread, how mortally damaged waterfowl species are seen less and less every year. All I knew as a kid is that dinner was late, if not at all, and my mother was very unhappy. I knew about but had never seen my father's birding life list, allegedly up in the many hundreds of birds identified through his 89-year lifetime and all over the world. I knew he kept year lists. The competition was keen among birders of his statue, and things got really tense in our household if he found out that one or another of my siblings' list was getting close to his in any 12-month period. That is why it was so striking and so moving to me when a big manila envelope stuffed with papers my dad had kept arrived in the mail some months after he died, in addition to astonishing numbers of cards, letters, and personal photos I had sent him over the years. There were several of his bird trip lists, one from Kenya, one from Riding Mount National Park. There was a checklist of birds from Manitoba, carefully marked up. He had seen an Arctic loon, a whistling swan, a yellow-shafted flicker, a bay-breasted warbler. On the bottom of the last page, there was a note that he had seen and identified 113 species in 2 days. He must have been thrilled both on an ego level and the way it connected him to the non-human-centered universe. Keeping these lists of birds. I don't know where or whether his actual cumulative birding list is, but if he had survived him, and if it's ever found, it will assume biblical status, at least for me. The notion of keeping lists as both practical, psychological, and I would argue as a spiritual practice is perennially popular. Published in the mid-1990s, there was a book called List Yourself. List making as a way to self-discovery was marketed as a way of unlocking the door to personal identity, giving us the tools for being seen, a strategy for being heard, arguing that list making is the road from unknowing to knowing about ourselves, with no guru necessary, no therapist, no special diet, no need to suffer. All you needed to have self-enlightenment was a pen or pencil and time to fill the inventory of personal secrets, fears, and desires. And there you are, big as life in list form. So remember the saying, know thyself? Try list thyself. Urging us to get past the obvious enumeration of stuff we need to get done. Pick up resold shoes. Find a box of barbecued pig's ears for the dog. Call your mother. Kill snails and write the IRS. The authors invited us instead to try listing all the times we've experienced something remarkable in our lives. All the times you have experienced something remarkable in your life. To list the qualities we love about being human. List things which always make us laugh. List the transitions in our lives that taught us the most. List the places we visited that have altered our views of the world. How many of you have done this? Ask yourself this and list some of it. List the things that we must do before we die. And we call that a bucket list.
Yes.
So there's the movie bucket list. So take the movie bucket list with Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson. Chronicle the adventures. How many of you have seen the movie? Chronicle the adventures of two men who, upon given medical death sentences, set out to check off activities from their bucket list. That is, wishes they wanted to fulfill before they kicked the bucket. They died. In my view, mostly obvious male bonding things like skydiving, and Hollywood fantasies like flying off to Europe for dinner. This less than inspirational film, however, spawned a good deal and has continued to spawn a good deal of creative blogging activity. Asking what a list like this might include generically, one blogger proposed that our list of lifetime gotta-dos includes necessarily, we all have to travel and write it down on a list. We all have to have generic fun. We have to go to places to dine that we haven't tried before, and there's some loose category of personal development. And then something you say you did before you died, and also something that adds to the depth of your character and makes you just generally a more interesting person. Okay, that's what we're supposed to put on our bucket list. Travel, eating food, fun, and generically personal development. That's what we're supposed to do. And then, however, in this month's AARP magazine, novelist and editor Stephen Randall, who in 1 year survived being laid off a job that he'd had for 34 years, followed by a cancer that nearly killed him, has decided that jumping out of planes and swimming with sharks and the adrenaline rush of fear that comes with these constructed adventures, we go into these adventures in terror, are no longer on his life list. So he has constructed an anti-bucket list. Things that cause stress or manufacture terror, getting up too early, for example, or staying up too late, exchanging these for spending time with my family, listening to music, walks in the neighborhood, and watching good television. Rabbi Shuli Botek has described the arrival of the new year as humanity's wake-up call, a kind of perennial time to make those ultimate bucket lists of our greatest yearnings, our greatest callings, to, in his words, awaken humanity from its slumber and complacency, alerting us to the need for personal and collective renewal, to annually assess our lives, how they are spent, and with what intentions. So he describes two kinds of renewal, horizontal and vertical. Horizontal renewal, and the list we might make of this involve the kind of pastimes I've been speaking of, where we shop, what we shop for, where we vacation, what movies we have seen, even what birds we have seen. Not in themselves bad things to do, wrong things to list, but only one kind, and a very limited kind of renewal. And this is not the basis upon which we judge our own human progress, or are judged in an ultimate sense. There is also a sense of vertical renewal every year, by which we reach deep inside ourselves and unearth new and exciting dimensions of our personalities. This is real renewal, he teaches us, outward towards connection with what is most universal and most expansive, and then inward towards the infinite depth of our human souls. This is the list that we are called to make at this January time of renewal and growth, to keep the whole year long. So, in what ways have you been spiritually nourished, moved inward to plumb the depth, to find your true essence? And to what extent can you list them? and then move them into the next year? In what ways have you been connected with universal wisdom? In what ways have you worked to heal our interdependent communities? And in what ways have you worked to protect this fragile, interconnected planet? To what extent are these on your list, on your life list moving forward? So even as we are sickened and disheartened by the other tragic and maddening lists we are seeing made all around us, how many are dead by war? We count that. How many are dead by terrorism? We make lists and count that. How many are dead by gun violence? We make lists and count that. To what extent can these other lists outweigh the tragic lists that are all around us? Now, I know that a lot of you want to be done with Christmas. You can raise your hand. I know some of you personally have expressed that. But the truth is that when I looked around my neighborhood yesterday, there were still Christmas wreaths. There were still lights around the doors. I could look in the houses and see Christmas trees. Downtown, in my downtown, those decorations that have been up since the day after Halloween are still up. So I would like you to indulge me in reading to you what I think might be my life list, and it's from my grown-up Christian Christmas list, which was originally sung by Natalie Cole. How many of you know this one? Do you remember me? I sat upon your knee, that's Santa. I wrote to you with childhood fantasies. Well, I'm all grown up now. Can you still help somehow? I'm not a child, but my heart still can dream. So here's my lifelong wish, my grown-up Christmas wish, not for myself, but for our world in need. No more lives torn apart. Wars would never start, and time would heal all hearts. Everyone would have a friend, and right would always win, and love would never end. This is my grown-up Christmas list, and this may be my life list as well. So now is the time to ask our hardest questions, to make our holiest lists. These are, after all, the lists that we live by. So after the service, I invite you, see, I gave you a piece of paper and it has what on it? It's a to-do list. You are given to write down a few of your own life list goals. Life list goals. Maybe you heard something what I spoke, maybe you just can think about it. A life goal. I want you to put those on your list, and I think there are 8 slots. And if you so choose, include one, have one that answers this question. What do I wish I could do to help AUUF move forward to live our mission? What can I do personally to help AUUF move forward to live up to our mission? And if you have one of those on a list, then can you transfer that one listing onto the postcard, the multicolored postcard that you should have gotten. You should have gotten a to-do list and a postcard. Then Marcia will be collecting those after the service, and the Committee on Ministry would love to see them. So that's your homework, your immediate homework. You don't have to do it, but if you could, it would be a really interesting thing for us to see. Out of our personal life list, include this beloved community. So now we're going to arise in body or spirit, and it's not 23, it's 34, number 34. Though I must speak with bravest fire.
We're just going to sing this.
I
I'm not sure everybody has both the white list sheets and the colored postcards, so if you did not receive both, please say something at the end of service. We have tons and tons left, and you should obviously have both. Please join me in these words as we extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please stay after the service for our coffee hour and conversation, and of course today is potluck lunch here in the sanctuary. This is an opportunity to check in and share your life lists and personal wishes for the fellowship in 2024. Before our service ends, anyone with a brief spoken announcement may come to the microphone.
A brief announcement. Back there on the table of tables is a coat, which is left here like on the first Sunday of January. A shawl, like a wrap, whatever you like. It looks like a child's. A pair of gloves from the Lost and Found, and a single glove and a single glove from the Lost and Found. And because I cleaned out the Lost and Found bucket. And anyway, if you're missing anything, check the Lost and Found, and please check those things because they're going to make it back to the bucket.
And then we can have a bucket list.
If you leave things on the chairs while we're setting up for potluck, it will end up somewhere else.
So just to add to what Marty was saying, so the Committee on Ministry, all the members are here today, just to remind everybody, myself, Ralph, right there, raise your hand, and Aisha, and I think Tim's in the back, right? So we're going to be sitting during potluck kind of spread out. If you'd like to come talk with any of us and share your ideas about how we can move forward in living up to our mission, then please do that. And like Marty said, I'll be collecting your little cards, and you do not have to put your name on that. It's not committing you to, but it's collecting ideas. But of course, if you want to put your name on, that'd be great.
I'm Connie Ressler. 31 years ago, our family thought we welcomed a little baby girl. Can you hear me?
Get your mouth closer to the microphone.
What am I doing wrong, Laura?
You want to talk into the microphone closer.
Here. You'll be fine.
Okay, I'll start again. 31 years ago, our family thought we welcomed a little baby girl, and her name was Hannah. Well, she's transgender. Yeah, she is. She's transgender. And I'm going to leave a photograph of her. She wants to have her breasts surgically removed. She's legally changed her name to Cameron. I don't like it, but what can I do about it? Nothing. We just have to let her know she's loved unconditionally. This is a picture. Well, I could live with her being lesbian. And this is her with her partner, Hunter. They had a baby girl, they named her Hunter. So this is Cameron and Hunter. And she's transgender. And I'll leave a photograph over there. Friday, in all the rain, our book group met, and I announced it to some of my close friends knew. But I passed the photograph around. And it is, I'm not happy with it, but there's nothing I can do about it except to let her know she's loved unconditionally. So anyway, here's the photograph over there.
Hi, I'm Chris. Two announcements. The first one is this evening we'll be having the first campus ministry dinner of the semester, 6:30 in 2056 RBD Library. So if you are a student, faculty, staff, administrative professional with Auburn, you're welcome to come. If you're not officially affiliated with Auburn, but you're interested, just come find me and we can talk about how that works. There's just rules that the university has about outside guests. Second thing, I'm really excited about this. So next Sunday, we are going to be doing the first of 4 meetings over the course of the next several months, working on trying to plan and envision the future of religious exploration here at AUUF. We'll be using a process that I've been certified in called appreciative inquiry, which is a strengths-based approach to organizational change. And my hope is that this is as close to all hands on deck as possible. So if you are a youth, if you are a parent of a youth, if you are a parent of an adult child who was once in the RE program here, if you're a current teacher, if you're a former teacher, if you're just interested in the future of the RE program and invested in its moving forward, I hope you'll join us. It'll be 12:15. I don't know if we'll be in here in the Bush or the Bush Center. And it'll be a lot of fun, really good, like enlivening conversation. And so please join us. Thanks. Next Sunday, 12:15, so after service, and I'll let you know the location next week.
So John Archibald, one of the people here in Alabama, journalist who I like, author of Shaking the Gates of Hell, is going to be speaking at the United Methodist Church downtown today at 6 o'clock. So if you'd like to hear him, he'll be there.
Hi, Pat. This week is the ice frozen pipes that we need to be aware of. So we'll be doing a couple things around here, like leaving some faucets dripping and keeping the heat on. So if you could all just be cognizant of that. And let me know if you see anything that's like the air conditioner unit's frozen up, or pipes aren't working, or you see something spraying out of a wall, then just let me know. And hopefully we can get through it. Thanks.
Hello, Jan Newton here. Wanted to let people know that the group of pagans are gathering at the Well-Read Coffee Shop Friday at 6:30. It's usually the third Friday of the month. And there's a table in the back of the store to the left, and that's where we meet. Thank you.
I don't usually do this, but when I hear somebody say something, no matter how unintended, that might be hurtful to other people, I want to stand up and say something. So it is very challenging. When you're unfamiliar with something, to accept it, and maybe maybe try to do more than accept it. If it's something in your family, someone who's transgendered or gay, maybe it's challenging. And I hope that we can all try to imagine what it's like for that person. I think we need to remember that transgender people commit suicide at astronomical rates, and they need all the support they can get. That means accepting gender they have transgender to and transition to, and using their new name, not their dead name. And I think we should look on that as an opportunity for expanding our own worlds.
A reminder for newcomers that our AUUF Connect email list is the best way to receive timely updates about the many activities of the fellowship and ways to connect. You can sign up at our website, auuf.org/subscribe. Now let us sing our benediction.
Have a seat.
Can I say that? So I'm singing a song that is known as Martin Luther King Jr.'s favorite hymn. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I am worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home.
First, I want to thank Lorna for your words and to emphasize that this community is open and welcoming of anyone, any gender identity, any person that you choose to love, any way that you choose to identify yourself. You are welcome here. You're welcome in this place. As we go out into a new week in our annual celebration of the life and legacy of Martin Luther King Jr., these words from him: may I stress the need to be courageous, intelligent, and dedicated in our leadership. Leaders of sound integrity, leaders not in love with publicity, but in love with justice. Leaders not in love with money, but in love with humanity. Blessed be, and go in peace.